Would you see GDPR as an opportunity or a threat?
I certainly think it's an opportunity. I think it's when you look at GDPR and what it contains, it's just best practice. So it's going to mean that more organisations have to operate in the right manner. I think for us, we started out a few years back, probably on the ISO 27001 track, which gave us a good leg up, to be honest, with GDPR. But we've got a program of work in place, and we've done gap analysis with a third party to look at what we've got to tackle. But it's certainly it's a journey and not a destination in that respect. So come the 25th of May, it's not like the project's done and I can move on to something else. It becomes best practice. It becomes instilled into the organisation and continual improvement.
I think the point it amplifies is the value of data, right? And how data is, is either the new oil in our industry, and how that will be the differentiator. How it's scalable with no cost, how it's reinforced the longer you have it and can grow and learn from it, how it's defensible from a competitive perspective. And so that data asset, either through different forms of regulation, becomes one of the most critical assets for the firm and needs to be treated and understood in that way. And this becomes the differentiator of certainly, I think, of successful firms and less successful firms over time. And that's I think the regulations that are coming forward are foundational pieces, and to your point, good practice, right? But there's going to be more to come, and what what will be invented in the future. But the notion of the data and that is the, again, the oil of our generation, so to speak, or of now, is an important piece.
One of the things that's interesting about that, the very first point you make, is that there are a lot of companies who pay lip service to the value of data, but didn't really understand what the value of the data is. GDPR puts a really bright light on that. It's like, wait, I can't do that? Sometimes you have to take something away for people to really appreciate it. And so you'll see, I think, let's not kid ourselves. It is absolutely more work. There's more work to do. Those are people who are doing that work, making sure that we're GDPR compliant, who are not doing some other work. Tick, useful investment. However, there are a whole bunch of companies who weren't quite as evolved as the companies we're talking about here, who, wait, we had an asset? And now they'll wake up, now they have no choice. Now that CTO has a nice little tool that says, well, we have to be GDPR compliant. While we're at it, by the way, we might as well leverage this massive asset we have, and that will tick off revolution. And that's sort of a back end to front end revolution. Because if that company is not making a big digital investment, but suddenly has to make a big data investment, you could see how that could flow through to the front end. So I think that's going to happen. Those of us who've been in data for a long time look at it one way. Those of us who haven't looked at it for a while are going to see it in a different light.
I think the other interesting about GDPR is that it's not new. It's not a new concept. It's look at data protection laws currently as we stand today. So I think what's put the spotlight on it is the level of fines being spoken about, and that's what's got people's attention. That's where it's become a board level agenda item to talk about. And that's what that is the catalyst that's been driving the adoption of it.
Yeah, certainly talking to organizations, they see it as, if they're looking at it right, they do see it as an opportunity to get data governance in order. The number of organizations I go into where there's good data governance is pretty limited. So I think it is an opportunity to get those sort of things right.
And those that don't do it won't exist. So again, to the point around digital companies, if you don't take that route, your chances of surviving are going to be very, very limited.
And I mean, when you think about it, that is, the data is going to be the differentiator. So if I need manufacturing capability, I can go rent it from some firm on the planet. If I need distribution capability, again, I can go rent it. and utilize it and outsource it. And so all the things that were differentiators 20 years ago about industrial scale don't matter. Those are not the differentiators today. And so this whole rush or wave through digitalization is all about the data and how you use that, because your competitor may or may not have that. Even if you lose your talent walks out the door, they can maybe build some infrastructure, but they're not walking out the door with the data, the terabytes of data that you have. And so the better understanding in how your organization, systems, tools, processes can then, through proper data governance, serve up information that can apply the techniques of machine learning or what have you to have intelligence and differentiated offerings and business understanding will be the competitive differentiator.